kepala Mogoles.
The woman in the lacquered wooden mask said in the common tongue of the Seven Kingdoms, "I am Quaithe of the Shadow. We come seeking dragons." "Seek no more," Daenerys Targaryen told them. "You have found them." Quaithe was a Shadowbinder that Daenerys met outside the walls of Quaithe. She gave Daenerys a cryptic warning that has stuck with her since just after her dragons were born. Quaithe warned Dany that people would covet her dragons, that they were a wonder and a danger to her and those around her. Dragons are fire made flesh, and fire is power. Dany was lavishly entertained and kept by the lords of Quaithe, and again she encountered Quaithe at a party. The woman took a step backwards. "You must leave this city soon, Daenerys Targaryen, or you will never be permitted to leave it again at all." Dany's wrist still tingled where Quaithe had touched her. "Where would you have me go?" she asked. "To go north, you must journey south. To reach the west, you must go east. To go forward, you must go back. And to touch the light, you must pass beneath the shadow." Soon after, Daenerys' dragons are taken, and in the show, Quaithe offers her help to Jorah Mormont to find them. "I am no one," the Shadowbinder said, "but she is the mother of dragons. She needs true protectors now more than ever. Will you betray her again? Will you betray her again?" "Never," he finally said. "The thief you seek is with her now." Using Quaithe's information, Daenerys finds her dragons at the House of the Undying. She burns the warlocks of Quaithe. Dany struggles to make sense of the messages, and if she should heed their warning or dismiss the information. Even her blood riders tell her not to trust the Magi's and those who would hide away from the sun. Jorah trusts her words but dislikes the woman. After leaving Quaithe, she takes Slaver's Bay with the help of her dragons and becomes the Queen of Meereen. She often thinks of Quaithe's warnings and wonders how she knew the things she did. She wonders why the woman's eyes always appear to be crying beneath her red lacquered mask. She wonders about the cryptic nature of her prophecies and what they will hold in her future. Quaithe's words haunt Dany because they are of her fears that she has spoken to no one. Dany covets Quaithe's advice and longs to see her again to give her some direction on her path. "Remember who you are, Daenerys. The dragons know. Do you?" While ruling in Meereen, Daenerys is faced with the hard truth of marrying for her people to accept her. She weighs the idea of marrying Hizdahr Lorak, whom she doesn't trust but has made promises to rid the city of terror, and of the Sons of the Harpy, who have been attacking her unsullied in the streets and killing innocent people in attempt to overthrow Daenerys. Dany is under a lot of stress at this time, and one night she cannot sleep and steps out on her terrace. A woman stood under the persimmon tree, clad in a hooded robe that brushed the grass. Beneath the hood, her face seemed hard and shiny. She is wearing a mask, Dany knew, a wooden mask in a dark red lacquer. "Quaithe, am I dreaming?" She pinched her ear and winced at the pain. "I dreamt of you on Balerion when we first came to Astapor." "You did not dream, then or now. Hear me, Daenerys Targaryen. The glass candles are burning. Soon comes the pale mare, and after her, the others. Kraken and dark flame, lion and griffin, the sun's son and the mummer's dragon. Trust none of them. Remember the undying. Beware the perfumed seneschal." "Reznak? Why should I fear him?" Dany rose from the pool. Water trickled down her legs and goose flesh covered her arms in the cool night air. "If you have some warning for me, speak plainly. What do you want of me, Quaithe?" Moonlight shone in the woman's eyes. "To show you the way." "Your Grace?" Missandei stood in the door of the Queen's bedchamber, a lantern in her hand. "Who are you talking to?" Dany glanced back towards the persimmon tree. There was no woman. No hooded robe, no lacquer mask, no Quaithe. A shadow, a memory, no one. She was the blood of the dragon, but Sir Barristan had warned her that in the blood there was a taint. Could I be going mad? They had called her father mad once. I was praying, she told the Nathi girl. It will be light soon. I had best eat something before court. When the wars of Slaver's Bay begin, the small folk head to Meereen for refuge from the tyranny of the new rulers of Astapor and Yunkai. One of the first refugees to arrive to the city gates was a dying man on a pale horse. His horse was lathered and steaming, and the man was bleeding and sick down his legs onto the horse. A bloody flux, or, as Daenerys immediately coins in her mind, the pale mare. Interestingly, Daenerys is the first to coin the phrase the pale mare. The flux is later referred to as such, but it is never called this by anyone in her company. We see it called the pale mare by Victarion, Tyrion, Quentyn Martell, and Sir Barristan, but not until after Daenerys has left the city. It was as though she had the foresight into this plague, or she manifested her own pale mare through cryptic warnings and paranoia. The pale mare, Daenerys sighed. Quaithe warned me of the pale mare's coming. She told me of the Dornish prince as well, the sun's son. She told me much and more, but all in riddles. Later, Daenerys rides Drogon for the first time out of the fighting pits in Meereen. She travels far with her dragon, and they stay out on the open plains of the Red Waste. She is starving and finds some berries to eat, which ends up poisoning her for a few days. She has some weird hallucinations and dreams while she is alone out in the waste. She dreamed. All her cares fell away from her, and all her pains as well, and she seemed to float upward towards the sky. She was flying once again, spinning, laughing, dancing, as the stars wheeled around her and whispered secrets in her ear. To go north, you must journey south. To reach the west, you must go east. To go forward, you must go back. To touch the light, you must pass beneath the shadow. Quaithe! Dany called. Where are you, Quaithe? Then she saw. Her mask is made of starlight. Quaithe's words have come to mean everything to Dany. She hasn't fully deciphered the warnings, but so far, many have come true before her eyes. She treasures the prophecy and is haunted by it. We know what is said of prophecy. It can bite off your you-know-what. From what Daenerys can interpret of her riddles, she knows she must stay strong and true to herself, the last dragon. Remember who you are, Daenerys. The dragons know. Do you? Daenerys received so much love and support by the slaves she freed in Essos, and when she left to head to Westeros, she was at full strength. She had 3 dragons, the Dothraki and Unsullied armies, Ser Jorah, Tyrion as her hand, and Varys as an advisor. She had the support of the Tyrells, the Dornish, and the Greyjoys. But since she has been in Westeros, she has lost nearly everything and received no support from the locals. No one has been waiting for her arrival, sewing dragon banners in secret. She struggles to get Jon's support, though she offers her support to fight against the dead. She has lost much. She lost Viserion, Jorah, half her armies, and still doesn't have the love of the Starks or the Northerners. The Tyrells were killed, as were the remaining Dornish, and Yarsha Greyjoy was taken prisoner by her uncle. She lost much of this to help the Northerners in the Long Night, which wasn't so very long, but the dragons were certainly necessary for to win. Thinking back on all she lost, I'm sure the words of her allies ring in her ears. Olenna told her to be a dragon during their last meeting together, and Missandei's last words were Dracarys, before being executed. Remember who you are, Daenerys. The dragons know. Do you? Arya is the only person who has admitted how much they needed Daenerys, though she still doesn't trust the Dragon Queen. When Dany spoke of heading south as soon as possible, Sansa wisely recommended resting the troops before sending them off again, but Dany took it as hesitation on holding up their end of the deal. After finding out about Jon's parentage, Dany is definitely feeling up against the wall. She has lost half her strength since coming to Westeros. She never assumed the conquest would be easy, but I don't think she anticipated this level of disregard, racism, and lack of gratitude for what she has done so far. When she heads home to Dragonstone, Rhaegal is killed by Euron Greyjoy, and Missandei is taken hostage. Dany's fleet is pretty much wrecked. When she goes to King's Landing, Cersei cuts off Missandei's head, despite Tyrion's efforts and desire to believe the best in his sister. Daenerys is at her wit's end. She has lost so much and now has hardly any political support. She has lost her closest friends, Jorah and Missandei, and though Jon is making promises to her, she knows it's only a matter of time before his claim will pop up and become common knowledge. His claim is stronger, and the people of Westeros don't have love for her. They are ungrateful for their lives that she and her dragons bought them, and they haven't thanked her. When the time comes to attack King's Landing, the fight starts out wonderfully, and Daenerys is owning the Lannister forces. She takes out the Greyjoy fleet and destroys the Scorpions along the wall, and the Dothraki decimate the Golden Company. Dany could head to the Red Keep and just take it out, or even give Cersei the opportunity to surrender, but instead, she remembers. Remember who you are, Daenerys. The dragons know. Do you? It's only Daenerys and Drogon left, us against the world. She has been rejected by Jon, her dragons killed, her armies killed, her best friend murdered before her eyes. The dirty peasants of King's Landing have no love, only fear for the Dragon Queen. Quaithe's prophecy has stuck with Dany for many years. She remembers who she is. She remembers the Targaryens before. She remembers Aegon's conquest and the Dance of the Dragons, and she remembers fire and blood. The people might not like what she brought, but this is what Targaryens bring. If she is going to lose her crown to Jon, the people will know what a Targaryen is. Perhaps she feels this may help her claim. Perhaps she just doesn't care. Daenerys unleashed her dragon upon the city, and she took what is hers with fire and blood as promised. But even a blaze of glory must go out, and if Quaithe's prophecy has gotten her this far, she must remember the warnings also. We can play out many of these characters within the prophecy with the cryptic descriptions from Quaithe. Although this prophecy wasn't given to us in the show, I believe we did get a huge nod to many of these characters that Dany was warned of, and one in particular. Hear me, Daenerys Targaryen. The glass candles are burning. Soon comes the pale mare, and after her the others. Kraken and dark flame, lion and griffin, the sun's son and the mummer's dragon. Trust none of them. Remember the undying. Beware the perfumed seneschal. What will this pale mare bring to Daenerys? We see in the trailers for episode 6, it looks as though Dany is having a coronation. It will be very interesting to see how this plays out, and how Arya riding in on a pale mare will affect Dany's future. Arya came to King's Landing to kill a queen, but Cersei got herself killed instead. Is there a new queen on the list? And since we are giving weight to one Shadowbinder's prophecy, we may want to include another prophecy from another Shadowbinder in the story. The girl. I must find the girl again. The gray girl on the dying horse. Jon Snow would expect that of her, and soon. It would not be enough to say the girl was fleeing. He would want more. He would want to see the when and where, and she did not have that for him. She had seen the girl only once, a girl as gray as ash, and even as I watched, she crumbled and blew away. Melisandre of Asshai has a vision in her flames of Jon Snow's sister riding in on a horse as gray as ash. She thought this girl would ride to the wall, but Arya never appeared. The girl, she said. A girl in gray on a dying horse. Jon Snow's sister. Who else could it be? Prophecy never appears how we expect it. It's never cut and dry. But perhaps we can put together the puzzle pieces and spell out a prophesied ending for many characters coming together. The Song of Ice and Fire. I have made mistakes, I have admitted as much, but... A gray girl on a dying horse, daggers in the dark, a promised prince, born in smoke and salt. It seems to me that you have made nothing but mistakes, my lady. Where is Stannis? What of Rattleshirt and his spearwives? Where is my sister? All of your questions shall be answered. Look to the skies, Lord Snow, and when you have your answers, send to me. Winter is almost upon us now, and I am your only hope. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Valor Morgulis.